Hi everyone, welcome to School of Scarlett. I'm so happy to have you here today. So today I have another interesting topic for you. Today we're going to be talking about foreplay. So as you know that my school is titled School of Scarlett. I'm very much into teaching and school and all that kind of stuff. So just to kind of make a little fun thing out of it, we're going to call this our sex education. And it's not really what you think. Everything that I talk about, even if it were to be sex education, it all translates all into our reality. So I'm talking about a much deeper truth here. We're not actually talking about foreplay, but if you're looking for that, if you're looking to learn about foreplay, then I have that here for you as well. And I also have for you the much deeper aspects of foreplay and why I'm talking about it in this way. So before I get started, I want to share a little story with you that kind of sparked this kind of talk, this interest around talking around foreplay for you. So it all started with losing things around my home. So I didn't particularly lose anything, but my husband loses a lot of different things. And I've noticed this kind of pattern happening with him and with other people that I know in my family and just things like that. It seems that they lose things and it's just out of this world. It's like it just disappears out of the house and it's so random. And my home is pretty well organized, and so I know where everything is. So as soon as anything's lost, I go looking and it's very clear to me whether or not it's there because there's really not like a big mess somewhere. So the item that was missing was nowhere to be found. And this has been happening, like I say, I've noticed it now over years, but I've been paying a little bit more attention to it now just because it's so unusual to me when people lose items and things out of their reality completely. That just makes no apparent sense. It literally seems as if somebody came in and stole the item or the item vanished, which did not happen. So what did happen? So I wanted to really know about this, and so my curiosity was very strong, and I set my focus to really go into the consciousness, the connect with source and the consciousness of these lost items and what had happened to them. And so come to find out with these lost items, it was quite interesting, and it really opened my eyes to a lot more ways of communicating this with y'all. So apparently when we lose these items that are just out of this world, we don't understand how we lost them. Or for example, another thing that came through was when you receive a package and maybe there's not an actual item that you ordered in it, or somebody sends you a gift and the gift isn't there, or there's something wrong with it, or that sort of thing. When we're losing things that are clearly were meant for us, somebody put them out there for us, but they just didn't arrive, or they vanished, they disappeared. So what happened to these items? So when I connected to the consciousness of what was happening to these items, it was literally shown to me that the person that is receiving the items is not in an energy of receiving at the moment. They are closed to receiving for whatever reason. And what I was able to see was it was more of being in this kind of lower vibration of feeling that they were not going to get something. So it's more of that mentality of thinking nothing good happens for me. Things are just going to fall apart. That kind of mentality, or those thought streams that come through, if you were to believe those, what apparently happens is even if someone was sending you a gift, you wouldn't receive it. It would get lost in the mail, or it'd get to you, but you'd open the package and it wouldn't be there. It would be something else and not the right item. So it's because you are not in the frequency of receiving it. And I kind of understood this before a while back when I understood about people that had been winning the lottery. It was a fun thing for me to watch Lottery Dream Home on TV all the time. I really enjoyed watching on YouTube or anywhere where people would share their stories about how they won the lottery. And what I began to notice is that there were patterns to how people won the lottery. And it was clear to me that people could win the lottery or manifest the lottery. But once they got it, if they were so lucky to manifest it and actually manifest it in the right way and just get it, what would happen with a lot of these people is that they would lose the money. Things would come up from their past that would require them to pay money, and they would just lose it that way. Family members would come and take it, or they'd get into a marriage or something that would totally take their marriage, or they just squander it away on things that were more pleasure-based because they didn't have the frequency of holding money, of really being in that frequency of I am money. and I am all. So when you're not in that frequency, when you're thinking you're going to lose it or you're scared, a lot of these people that had won the lottery and things were scared. They were emitting and having a frequency of fear, that lower vibration, that they weren't receiving it. So as soon as they were giving it out, or as soon as it was leaving them, it was not able to be returned because there was a block there with their energy. Their energy is saying, I'm not receiving this right now. I am in my mentality of thinking I am not receiving. I cannot have this. I am not going to get this. I'm not worthy of this. For whatever reason, there's a thought stream coming through that's being believed that is repelling what is meant for you. So how can we change this? We really have to change this by understanding who we are and what we truly are. So I'm going to kind of be talking about things in different ways. So stick with me. I'm going to talk about it in the human way, like I say, foreplay, and what can we do to get into that vibration. And I'm going to be talking about it in the way of how do we align to who we truly are so that we are always at this vibration, or we know how to harness and return back into that vibration. So, so first, let's just get fun with it. Let's talk about foreplay. Is that what you're here for? We clicked on a video about foreplay, so let's go ahead and talk about foreplay. So foreplay is something that happens prior to making love, having intercourse with someone, really getting intimate with them. It's the acts before it, whether that's touching, feeling. There's a lot of senses involved with foreplay. So it's all about these senses and creating this kind of magnetism between one and another. So, and this is all done prior to this act, but so many people miss out on this. And this is why I want to bring this to the surface. Again, just kind of bringing back some of my background in counseling. When you counsel couples, a major part of counseling couples is their sexual life, because that is part of their relationship. That is part of what sustains a marriage. That's part of what our bodies actually sometimes need. We actually all have require different needs in those areas. And some people are ashamed to talk about this or think it's so strange, but it's completely natural. And as a counselor, I know this because it's an essential part of a relationship. We couldn't heal or talk about a relationship or work on our relationship without addressing this area. So this is a very natural area, guys. I want to really transmute any shame, any weirdness behind this, because it's not weird at all. Each and every one of you came into this earth because of sex. And if you don't see that, if you don't understand that, then we are far, far from what we are as creator beings. Creator beings is literally, we are sitting at that throne of creation, and we are there. We understand the womb. We understand the masculine and the feminine playing together to create. So if we're not understanding the power of sex, or we're denying it, then we are very lost, very, very lost from what we truly are as creator beings. So to understand some of this, let's talk about the feminine. Let's talk about the masculine. So the feminine has a different energy. And I've talked about this. If you've watched my videos, I do have playlists around this. So if you want to gain a greater understanding about the feminine and the masculine energies, go into my channels and watch the playlist around masculine and feminine, and you will gain a lot more clarity to understand this. So the feminine is a much slower pace. It's a more flowy pace. It doesn't have an agenda or a structure a whole lot of the times. It's very open. It doesn't play in time. It can be late. It can take its time. So that is a little bit about the feminine of where I'm going with this. Now the masculine is quick. It wants to have results. It wants to move fast and get to the prize. It wants to gain that prize, that accomplishment, whatever it is that it is. If it was hunting, the masculine wants to hunt and bring home the food, you know, whatever it is that it is. So that is the masculine. And so the masculine, because it wants to accomplish this and bring it back, usually to the feminine, it's very much in this mode of let's get this done. It has a strategy. It's not so much in the emotions. It's not trying to spend a ton of time in this thing. It's trying to get it done quickly and efficiently to bring that money home, to bring that animal home to eat, or whatever it happens to be. So that is the evolutionary biology of the feminine and the masculine. That's not even talking about the spiritual, but the spiritual is essentially the same. It works the same. You know, maybe I am talking about the spiritual. It's all one. So when we're talking about this, you can see that there is quite a polarity, quite a difference between the masculine and the feminine energies. So when they come together to make love, or to come together to create, it becomes a bit difficult, because we have one energy wanting to speed things up and seeing that as value, and the other one wanting to slow things down and seeing that as very valuable. So how do these two come together to create the creation of, let's say, sex, or let's say a baby, or let's say, if I'm going to translate it, which I'm going to turn it around for you, a spiritual awakening? So how can we match the energies of this world? Because we are just energy, my friends. There is nothing here that is not energy. How can we harness the masculine and the feminine as beings, as who we are here, and bring those together and to alchemize them into what is spiritual awakening? And what I'm going to tell you is you're not going to be able to accomplish either having sex or having a spiritual awakening very well or very complete without foreplay. Foreplay is essentially what brings up that vibration that I'm talking about, that allows you to receive those gifts that I mentioned so many people are missing out on, that allows you to keep those things that you already have, so that you're not losing things right and left into air, basically. So how can we do that? We have to get into a total vibration, a total energy that is in match, that is equal and at the same level to whatever it is that you want. And ultimately, the best and most important way to do this is to understand who you are, because I can tell you all day long how to have foreplay, and I'm about to do that. But if you don't understand who you are, you're always going to be coming back to these tips to figure it out. But if you understand who you are and you abide in that, then you will always have that within yourself, and you will never have to seek it anywhere outside of yourself. So stick with me so that you can harness this within your being, not somewhere outside of yourself, like watching videos, books, or tips, or counselors. You have the power within you. Only we have to go through the steps the correct ways. And if we miss out on foreplay, the feminine's not going to be very happy. And you see, the feminine rules a lot of this. We need both energies. And if you neglect the feminine, we are not getting anywhere in this game. So many of you are starting to recognize that whether you're watching my videos, whether you're watching the world, whether you're watching other people's videos, the feminine is coming into rule. And so the feminine has been neglected for so long, which has been why there's been so much constriction, so much problem in this world so far. This is just a game, a play of life. We wanted to experience one side, we're about to experience another. So come on with me and let me tell you about how to have some foreplay. So in order to really engage the feminine, to really have the feminine playing with you so that you can really have these energies matched, we have to play in joy. We have to play like we already have everything that we want. So whatever it is that you're seeking out there, you have to imagine that you already have that. You have to release that attachment, that needy energy of, I want this, I'm going to go get this. All the old structures of planning, of really efforting, of going out there and killing yourself to do something, those ways are no more. We will still have to have some sort of structure. I'm not saying that at all. We still need the brain and we still need the masculine. We're never getting rid of anything in our reality. So don't misunderstand me. Everything here is needed, but we need to balance it. And the feminine has been pushed off to the corner. Hasn't had any real attention, very little foreplay. So how is that energy going to match with the masculine that's, risen up so much? She's down here. We need them like this in order to, boom, create the fire. You're not going to have that fire. You're not going to have that spark or that awakening without bringing that feminine up to the masculine. So the masculine has to kind of release, or some of that masculine a little bit, come to the level of the feminine. And the feminine herself, if she is not at, ready for the masculine or whatever, can also do some adjusting. But I'm talking about in general, in this world, what we have to do to kind of energetically place this in your mind so that you can return to it at any point, no matter what your circumstance, whether you're the feminine or the masculine or whatever is happening, you have an understanding of how these energies work. Okay, so foreplay, if you really think about it, foreplay is what kind of gets you comfortable, kind of lets you have your guard down and relax into being able to experience whatever is about to unfold in that sexual experience you're about to have with your partner, let's say. If you don't have foreplay, if the woman has not felt relaxed, she won't enjoy that. It will not be pleasurable to her, and most likely she will not orgasm, and she just won't enjoy it. It will just be whatever. And who knows, she might even fake an orgasm. So now we're bringing in distortions. So without really tending to the feminine and foreplay, we really have quite a disaster. Okay. And same thing with let's say a spiritual awakening. If we are very much into the masculine energy and we go into a situation, let's say we're meeting with someone that has some knowledge or something to share with us, and we're going into a one-on-one session with them. If we're going in there thinking that that one-on-one session is going to give us some spiritual awakening, do something for us, and we get into this session and we're just so greedy and anxious and putting everything out there and trying to get it fast, we're not going to get anything. We're going to get frustrated. We're going to get confused. There's going to be way too much information because we've just basically vomited out so much of these things, trying to be greedy and have everything at once. We have to go slow. We have to get to know the feminine and understand that the feminine takes her time, unfolds one thing, then the other. Okay? But the masculine wants to go fast because he wants results to bring back to the feminine. It's very natural, but as you see, it doesn't work. We have a disconnect here. So the mechanics of this have made it quite difficult, but it's not that difficult. It actually works. But there is a trick in everything. Everything has a bit of a maze to it. That's why I say life is not linear. It's literally a spiral. It's craziness. It's always, when you think this thing, it's going to take you here and there, and it's always going to transform. What was true one day is not true the next. It depends on your consciousness. It depends on your reality at the moment and many other things. But if you have the basis understanding of who you are, then that will not matter where you're at, okay? So again, going back to foreplay and the feminine. So if we're going too fast, expecting these results and being so greedy and putting everything out there and doing it this way and that way, it's going to be frustrating, okay? And that is exactly how the feminine feels when the masculine comes in and does not give her the foreplay, does not give her the kisses, the caresses, the love to relax her. She feels frustrated and she's not going to engage in the right ways. She's not going to enjoy herself. Now, don't feel bad. This is all something that's all been just set up here for us to have this experience of major polarity here. So even our ways of having orgasm are very different for the masculine and the feminine. So for a male, generally they can come to climax within 3 minutes or less. And for a feminine, for a female born person, or, you know, with that genitals, you're going to have longer, okay? Because there's different kinds of orgasms. But for the most part, for a woman, what is average is about 9 to 11 minutes for her to reach that. And so as you can see, if a man is not having foreplay or doing these things and going straight for this, the feminine, is not having any of the pleasure, is not engaged in it. It would be as if she's not even there. So that's how I see it as well on our life, on our reality, on, you know, anything outside of sex. I'm translating this so that you can see it in all areas of life. So if we're doing this, if we're being this way in life, we're not going to have the results we want. We're going to be very frustrated. And you see, the masculine's going to get, even though the masculine may have climaxed and all of this, he's going to see that the feminine doesn't have her pleasure. He's going to pick up on these energies, and his energy is not going to be good either. So we have to tend to all. We have to tend to all in our experience. Our reality is everything. We are everything. So as soon as we shun our neighbor, or we treat this person bad, or we judge them, you have to realize that's an aspect of yourself that's being projected out into the form for you to address. And as soon as you judge it, as soon as you treat it badly, shun it, push it away, then that is the experience you're going to have. You're going to have a lower vibration. Sometimes we have to do that, but in the end, everything should come back because everything is you. If you truly have something outside your reality that you are truly avoiding completely, you're saying, I'm not going to engage in that, I'm not going to do that. That's the thing that's going to recur in your reality. That's the thing that's going to pop up again and again for you to transmute. So just be aware of these things. All of this is a huge mind game, okay? A huge mind game. But if you abide in the heart has no like thoughts, like it doesn't think like the brain. It's not thinking, oh, this is a mind game and how does it work and the spiral and this and that. If you simply go into who you are, like I say, if you know who you are and go into silence and let the storms pass or the fires or whatever pass, you know, you're just going to be constant as if you don't see it, then it'll pass. And you will see that each time you do this, something amazing and more amazing and more amazing will happen. It's just crazy. So I really am going to kind of bring you into this whole world of foreplay. It's joy. But I want you to realize it's not actually about two people. It's really not about separate people, beings, any of these things. I'm bringing you back to yourself now. All of this is really about you. You saw me sprinkle in how everything outside your reality, even your neighbors, anything you're judging is really a reflection of you. So if that is the case, and that is the way I really truly see it, and it is apparently this way, then what does that mean? Do we really have to wait on someone else to love us? Do we really have to sit there and just beg our boyfriend, husband, or someone to love us or do these things for us? Do we have to be miserable until we find a husband or wife or whatever it happens to be? No, you can give this to yourself. So what I'm going to turn it around now is you can give yourself foreplay. Life is literally just one euphoric experience. And if we understand this and we begin to give ourselves our own foreplay, our vibration elevates to a level that anything is possible for us. And things, miraculous things just come into our existence without us even blinking an eye or even having to focus on it. At a certain level, it finally is just, the universe is wanting to just give you. It's like, yes, I see you, you got this. So here, have this, there's this person, there's this thing. And everything is just in alignment. So to do that, we have to do something very simple, and it's not very hard. So if you have to force yourself to love yourself, we have to really look into that then. I would recommend a one-on-one session. If we have no love for ourselves, that's where we need to start. We need to be able to love ourselves, give ourselves that foreplay. Ask yourself, what would you like to do today? What would make you happy to wear today? What would be something that would make you feel really beautiful today? What kind of foods would you like to eat? What sounds amazing? What are you craving? Get out of this mentality of I have to stick to this strict thing. Let yourself be free at times and allow yourself to seduce yourself in foreplay. Take yourself out to a nice meal, dress up nicely, do your hair. Involve yourself in the senses of life. Touch yourself. You don't have to wait on anyone else to touch yourself. As you touch yourself, that's just the same as someone else touching you. Your body registers it the same way. Oxytocin is released the same way as if someone else touches you or if you touch yourself. If you don't know what I'm talking about, look up self-massage. There's many things on YouTube that you can do. Even if you don't have a partner or a person, you don't have to wait on any of that. And even if you do have a partner, it's time to start learning to give this to yourself, because there's a lot of attachments in relationships. And I will bring that in a video here to come. Comment down below if you would like me to make a video around the attachments and freedoms in relationships, because there's quite a tug and pull there as well. But one way we can kind of release that is to understand that we can give ourselves everything we need. Because as soon as we allow someone or give someone else the power to be the ones that decide when we can have that, or when we can experience our joy, our pleasure, our love, then we have lost everything, guys. You've lost everything. Don't ever seek for something outside of yourself. Everything is right here within you. And if you don't have something, you're lacking something, you're just not in line with who you are. But you're totally capable of having anything and everything that you want for yourself. So this video is really just to bring you back into loving yourself, giving yourself that self-love, being at that vibration of receiving so that you're not there losing out on everything in life, getting empty packages in the mail and opening this thing and losing that, and this person's leaving you and that person's leaving you and this and that. So let's create something that's solid here. Let's create something that works for us. And it's not to say if something leaves your reality that that's a bad thing either. Let me just point that out, because there may be some of you that are losing things in your reality, but that's only making way for more to come, a different experience to come. Maybe that experience is no longer at your vibration. Maybe you are vibrating now a bit higher, so now you're attracting a different experience. So whatever happens essentially is okay. Everything is fine and perfect here. But if you're feeling like something is wrong, you have to realize there's maybe some projections. There's probably some things that you're allowing or you're believing about yourself that are not true. Otherwise, they wouldn't exist. I mean, life does bring us all kinds of random things. But again, if we can abide in silence and return back into who we are, those things will surely pass. And then the miracle will come and be born, and it'll be whatever. It'll be like an orgasm and a euphoric experience. So allow yourself to abide in who you are no matter what is happening. You are everything here. You are everything and nothing, but that is everything. You are just playing in this dream of life that you've created to experience all these magnificent and wonderful things. So why not go out there and experience them? This isn't a fear-based reality anymore. You can instantly switch that right now in this moment. Things have surely changed as the feminine has arrived. So go ahead and abide in your heart in this moment. I've told you a lot of things. Your mind may be racing, may be swirling with all kinds of ideas. Take a moment. Allow what you can feel like your energy that's in your brain. It's in my brain as well, because I'm completely in my masculine energy. Allow it to kind of go down. And you can take a breath, would be helpful. There it goes. So now we just sit here, and as you can see, when we abide in the heart, if I had started this video with that exercise, my speech would probably have been slower, and I may have shared a lot more stories that maybe were a little bit more personal, and I may have come out more in a way that wouldn't have been as judgmental. So there's just different energies that come out. So one of the things that I'm really wanting to do here, today I didn't really stick to the list, but I did create a list. I was more in my masculine energy today for sure. But one of the things that I'm wanting to create here on this channel is more of that feminine energy, and being here, not so much in a teaching mentality or modality, but more in a sharing modality. And in that, you will learn anyhow. I could sit here and sing or make noises or talk about dogs or cats, and it could be the same. So don't worry about what you watch either. That's interesting that kind of came up. You know, although you are on your journey, you're probably evolving into the heart and these sorts of things. You don't have to just watch this sort of content. Go watch things about dogs, about cats, about, you know, whatever you like to do, building projects, boats, you know, whatever it is that you like to do. You know, I told you a while back, I do craft shows and stuff. I started watching how to set up and break down craft shows, which is how to set up like these tables and put them down, a tent and put them down. It's not very interesting, is it? But these people have this passion for it. And when you watch this, it's not exactly what they're talking about that you're so interested in. It's like their passion, the way they do it, and the way they figured out new ways of doing things because of that passion. So immerse yourself in whatever you want. Be free. Give yourself that foreplay. Allow yourself to immerse in all kinds of senses. You know, have a nice meal. Dress up in nice clothing that feel different textures. If you have a partner, engage with them, explore them. Explore bodies, explore these things, just like we are doing in reality. So same thing spiritually, in life, explore life, get intimate with life, involve yourself in those senses. So this isn't just in the bedroom, this is in life. So equate your foreplay, the way that you're going to take foreplay now seriously because you understand the importance of getting the feminine on board. You're going to do the same in your reality. Begin to do this in life. Begin to do this in your daily life. Bring in some of that joy. Bring in some of that foreplay. Nourish the feminine in your daily life. Get out of your mind every so often. If you have a very stressful job, create things where you have a balance. It feels like a flow to you. Or you have things that have been set up where you're in your masculine, but at the same time, maybe when you come home, you're completely in your feminine. So in some ways you have your balance. So create this for yourself and you will experience so much more of that euphoria of maybe even that spiritual awakening, because when we get out of that needy energy and we're more in our flow and in our joy, then those things naturally come to us. We don't have to seek them. If you like this video, if this video was helpful to you, please share it, like it. Give me a comment down below, just a heart, something like that. It'll help us to get this video out there. If YouTube doesn't see those things, they don't think it's a valuable video. So let's get this stuff out there so that people can get in tune with their hearts and we can have a more beautiful world. Thank you so much for watching. I love you all.